Story time, guys. I had an encounter with a couple, close friends of mine, and they had a major disagreement, depending on how you look at it. And upon hearing both sides of the story, I quickly turned to the husband and said, "Hey, I want you to apologize to your wife." And he looked at me like, "Why should I do that?" I said, "Well, you both came to me, so I'm going to assume that you want me to give you some outcome that you're unable to reach by yourselves. So here's where we're going to start. You apologize to your wife." And he took a deep breath and a long pause and finally mustered this weird, "I'm sorry." I'm like, no. That's not what we're doing. I want you to really apologize to your wife, knowing that you have done something wrong or not, but just apologize to her in a way that truly shows how sorry you are and how much you value her. And he took another long deep breath, as you could expect. And he finally said, "Babe, I'm really sorry for everything. And I really am going to work on not letting this happen to us again." And she was really excited and felt like, "Oh, I've won this argument." And then I turned to her and said, "Madam, Mrs., I want you to do the same thing. I want you to apologize to your husband." And she was like, "Why now?" And I was like, no. We're not answering those questions twice. I already answered it the first time. So would you mind obliging me and just apologizing to your husband the way you know he would receive it? And she took another long pause. As you know, women, we have this shoulder pad that we wear in situations like this where we feel like, we never really need to apologize. But, seeing that her husband had complied, she did the same. And she looked at him and said, "I'm really sorry." I said, "Nah, that's not what we're doing. Come on now, sis, you know what to do. Is that how you would apologize to him if I wasn't here?" And she said, "Okay." So she got off her seat, she sat on his laps, gave him a hug and said, "Baby, I am truly sorry." And she sealed it with a kiss. And I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. They thought that was the end of it, right? No, it was not. Not with Dr. OJ. And I said, guys, listen, the reason I asked you, the husband, to apologize to her first is because I am trying to show you in any situation, if you do find yourself at this point again in the future, this is the simplest way to solve the matter. Point each other to Jesus. What will Jesus do? And for me, that was my assignment on that day. Not to criticize, not to judge, not to apportion blame or to vindicate another. It was just to point them both to Jesus. It was to give them a solution that would be ever living, real-time adaptable for any situation they would ever find themselves in. What would Jesus do? Jesus would always come to us first. He did actually. He already did. Before we ever even knew that we needed saving, God came through and saved us. He went after us with all the passion in his heart. He gave himself for us. He died, gave it all up so that he could restore us back to him. And when I'm talking about restoration, full restoration in all ramifications you could ever think about, Jesus already paid the price for us to be fully restored to him. And he went a step further to gift us with abilities that we could use to make the world better, to point more people to him, to showcase his goodness to the world. So in a dark world where we live in, every situation or circumstance we find ourselves, if we stopped for a moment to think, what will Jesus do? I promise you, the solution becomes so easy. The answer comes to us quicker than lightning bolt hitting you. Because it's so easy to know what Jesus will do. He would show love. He would show empathy. He would show kindness. He would forgive. He would apologize. He would do whatever was necessary to ensure that he brought restoration to every single relationship that he was in. And that is what he would expect us to do. And that is the mindset and the vision behind the DYG challenge. Discover your gifts. When discovering your gifts, you discover so much more beyond your gifts. You discover who you are created to be, not where, because you weren't created. If you're still living and breathing, you are a creative being. That means your creation and your creative process is ongoing. So you will discover who you are created to be. And that is why it's so important for us to, first of all, discover our gifts, then come back into a relationship with the gift giver so that way we can begin to deploy our gifts in the marketplace based on our individual assignments. And in every situation we find ourselves along the way, no matter how difficult it gets in accomplishing our God-given purpose, we would know that we are never to give up because Jesus never gave up. We would approach every single client and customer we come in contact with love and empathy. We will build interpersonal relationships that exemplify the love of Christ. We will do things by treating others the way we want to be treated, the golden rule. Discovering your gift challenge is more than a 3-day free challenge. It is a movement that is set to help restore a lot of people back to their God-given assignments. Join us October 21st and let us go on this 3-day journey together. And I promise you this, it definitely will be a game changer for you. As always, I love you. Dr. OJ, see you soon.
Dr. OJ, keep on speaking for us. You're the voice we want to hear. You have the positivity. Dr. OJ, keep on speaking.